Guys, good Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk here on the I Love CVille Network. We are live across Charlottesville, Central Virginia, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world. We're presented today by Ross Mortgage. Write the name down, Ross Mortgage, and remember Scott Mortgage Morris, friend of the program, all-around A-plus guy, and a gentleman that is turning into a hell of an evangelist for Culpeper County, Virginia. Jamie Turner watches this program all the time, and Jamie Turner, say hello if you're watching. I got this phrase from you, rep the pep.
Rep the pep.
And Scott Morris is undoubtedly doing that. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Let's go to the three-shot. Let's welcome the fellas to the program. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
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 What's the good word?
You know, let me see. We got a heartbeat.
Got your heartbeat?
We're doing good. Yeah, it's great to see you guys again.
Thank you.
Yeah, and really, that was a great shout out what you did on the coffee talk thing. I call it coffee talk, but the coffee shop thing. Tell me a little bit about that. How did you actually put that together? That was pretty cool.
Well, we've got a group focused on Culpeper called Culpeper Community Spotlight, where we're hitting a new business each week to talk about what their successes are, what any kind of upcoming promotions that they're having.
You champion them.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yeah, if they have something coming up available in the world, let's talk about it. We just did one this past week. Brittany with Raven's Nest was the one you're referring to.
Yeah.
This week we've got Mountain Kim Martial Arts with Gabby and Dennis Byrne.
So you're going to be doing some martial arts in the video or something like that?
No,
come on now.
Although I've got my kids go there for Taekwondo.
Yeah.
They've got Taekwondo, dance class, tennis lessons. They're 4, living the best life.
I have a feeling, is it Randy Smith?
Smythe, yeah.
I have a feeling Randy Smythe is going to be showcased in a video very soon.
Absolutely. Well,
Randy.
We did one with him and Brittany originally. That was the first one before that. Brittany's doing this thing where it's called Singo. It's like bingo with songs. So the songs are literally on your card, and you show up at a bar and listen to music and win some prizes. So
Was it pretty? Did
awesome.
you say bar?
Yeah.
You had me at bar.
Yeah.
Jamie Turner is watching, and he loves Rep the Pep, and he says, let's go, fellas. Jamie Turner, welcome to the show, the mayor of Gordonsville, now in Culpeper, Woodbury, Forest's finest alum. All right, gentlemen, where do we want to begin? We got some data from Keith Smith on Albemarle County active listings. Sam McGrain, hello. Nicholas Erpy, hello, and welcome to the program. We got Scott, I'm curious of how you're going to characterize this. I characterize it as going to be very influential and impactful meeting with Fed Chair Powell today, just after lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to start with that?
Well, last time we were sitting down on a Wednesday when they were talking about making a decision instead of decision day to day. I was looking at all this green on the screen, going, man, these guys are really reading the tea leaves. Something's happening, and then when they came out and started talking, it all reversed.
Literally reversed.
I'm wondering if that's kind of what we're seeing now. If they've been forecasting or at least broadcasting that maybe we're going to do a 50 basis point move, and now everybody thinks it's going to come in at 25, and they've already priced that in. So that's why we're seeing all the green, or maybe we come in at 50, and who knows, dude? That's so far out of my purview.
So put your marvelous market broker hat on your head. When that hits, we think it's going to hit. What's that going to do to interest rates, you think?
Interest rates are going to keep going up. Yeah. I mean, there's no, a combination of inflation and whether they make a 25-point move or a 50-point move, the U.S. 10-year is going to continue to climb. And they stopped their quantitative easing of purchasing mortgage-backed securities or bonds in general. That stopped last week. So there is no... We're about to see where the real money's at, and we're going to see investors price in more risk, and more risk means higher rates.
So from a retail end of it, or from the street end of it, haven't sat down with you for a couple of weeks, so thank you for covering.
Thank you. You're looking nice and bronze.
Thank you.
Sun-kissed.
Thank you.
Yeah, 2 weeks in the Caribbean, the Smiths.
Yeah, yep. 1 week with a little remote work with Mrs. Smith, and then the second week was with our daughters and son-in-laws and our 2 grandkids. So I'm still wore out from chasing. My hat is totally off to you guys. It's been a long time since I've chased after a 3-year-old son. But my question is I have an action in a couple of weeks. How is your mortgage applications tracking in those last 2 weeks? Are we picking up? Are we moving down? Is the market still moving forward?
The market is still moving forward.
Yeah, and so I'm just wondering, with all this red and green and interest rates, is it really going to be impactful in slowing, or either slowing down the real estate market or increasing inventory?
What it does to inventory, I don't have an answer for. So I will say, so talking to some peers, and if we're not talking targeted pre-approvals per property for very aggressive buyers, for my kind of blanket, like if they still need closing costs assistance, or limited to a down payment or closing costs, those are some struggles on the board still, versus someone who can go in and make an offer that can waive some things and pay their own closing and make an aggressive offer. Those are the buyers I'm seeing get accepted more frequently than those who are coming with some challenges to the table. That just because lack of inventory means multiple offers, which means less likely to be the best offer in that
Without
scenario.
a doubt. We're very fortunate. We've got some listings coming up, and the conversations we're having with them is when we sit down with contracts that Jerry hands over to us, unless it's a pre-approval, right, and it's been vetted through underwriting, because we're going to ask the 8 loan officer on the other side, has this been through underwriting? Where is the solidness of it? It's just not going to float to the top, even if the offer is greater than another offer, a financial offer. What you do and with the service you provide is really the key factor on if this is going to.
That's one of the things that we've been coaching to people. So not only do we need to get some documents in the process, but we're actually going to go ahead and treat this as if we're moving forward under a contract, and we're going to. So something that we are offering as a company is something called Ross, a guaranteed pre-approval, meaning that we'd pay the seller $1,000 if it doesn't close for any reason that based on the fact that we've already underwritten
low pressure.
it. Yeah. One more step. I mean, I consider every pre-approval that I write a guaranteed pre-approval, but this is something actually we step up from the company and go
Until
an additional
somebody
step
goes
with.
out and buys a Mercedes or something like that.
That's those are the.
I'm sure. I hope that language is in play.
I have those coaching sessions with my clients.
Well, but that's important to get out there, Scott. That I literally just had a conversation with a seller this morning that, we were having the conversation about, well, maybe I got people knocking on my front door. Maybe I should just sell that to them. And I said, look, that's cool if that's what you want to do, and that's all this great stuff. But what happens when you get a deal that is written by Rocket Mortgage or some whatever online thing? You're not going to have anybody to call, because if it's going to go south, it's typically going to go south on the loan side. So it's important to have a loan officer like yourself in front of the seller, or the buyer, that should be, so you can coach them through that, because you're going to communicate with me as the listing agent, and my level of confidence.
Absolutely. So from the moment one of our pre-approvals goes out and they get under, and there's an offer made before ratified, I'm reaching out to that listing agent to explain the strength of the buyer and go over anything that I can help make that more attractive to. So if we're up against something similar, or even something maybe a little bit better, and the little bit better is attached to an internet with no name, then chances are our offer is going to be the better offer.
So I'm looking at numbers. I just ran numbers this morning for Albemarle County, active versus pending. Right now there's 80 homes, there's attached and detached in Albemarle County available. 404 are in pending.
Yeah.
So that's a 4.75.
That's not balanced.
That is not balanced. And these are contracts that were probably written within the last 30 days, which has been the interest rate starting to climb over the last 30 days. And I'm real curious, we're going to keep a close track on this. That's the reason I keep on asking you, how's your loan applications? Because you are ahead of this. You're the leading edge of the data. At this point, it's on the contract, right?
Correct.
So they've already sat down with you. I mean, are you seeing that kind of ratio with applications coming in?
Sure. Or do you mean, yeah, I have more applications than people getting under contract? Absolutely. That's been the
an
ongoing
indication
problem.
of no inventory.
Yeah. That's been the ongoing struggle. Like, where's everybody going to land? Well, like a great indicator to me, the 4-to-1 in Albemarle is one thing. What do we got? How many listings we got versus rooftops in Lake Monticello right now?
Well, ask them the question you asked me about which municipalities have the most active listings. You know Albemarle's number one. I'm curious, and Scott's going to crush this. Daniel McDougall's watching. He's in your business, mortgage business. He has this for the panel. Our interest rates, DMAX says, do not move the day of a Fed announcement unless there's a different rate increase, decrease that expected by the market or hidden mixed messages in the Fed's notes after the meeting.
Yeah, we're not the mortgage rates aren't going to move off of the speak itself, but the bond market will. And I mean, there's a chance we see a negative reprice this afternoon due to that. That's
Lake Monticello has 7 homes for sale right now.
At a 4,400? How many, is it 4,400?
43. Let's call it 44.
4,400 in Lake Monticello, 7 active listings.
And to be honest with you, it's really only 5.
because, yeah, a couple of those are probably new construction that
No.
That have been on the market forever and need some serious TLC.
Yeah. So it's really 5 in my book.
Hey, if you're out there and you want to buy one of these TLC properties, we've got a great reno program we'll put together. I'm kind of pitching that everywhere.
So let's talk about that because Jerry highlighted.
And I've got a couple contractors, which is the key.
Jason Howard, hello, welcome
Contractor
to the show.
puts together a bid, and I've got a FHA, a HUD person that we can put it and shape it in the way that the government wants to see it.
So there's a listing, and Jerry might want to highlight this, that we were talking about yesterday.
He saw it.
In the city of
The
Charlotte.
one on
Palatine?
Palatine Avenue, 295K, that wasn't
With the
finished
gutted?
on the inside.
Yeah.
That was to the studs.
So
Yeah.
do you have a loan, if I want to
That
buy
didn't need Scott Morris, the mortgage guy. That needed Scott Morris, the carpenter.
I mean, yes, Scott Morse, the carpenter, could go to work.
This dude's got skills.
Hold it.
But I don't drywall or paint or do anything else.
He can do both of them.
Should I go down this road that you used to work for me?
Hey, it looks so nice because we did it twice.
Let me put it this way: I didn't ask Scott to do the trim work. Let's just say that. He was great at the demo work. Scott,
That's
destroy. Okay,
Yeah.
he destroys. But do you have? So I have a client. Assume I have a client that wants to buy that. Do you have a product that'll meet that?
I do. I mean, we've got, we could do it as a 203K, as long as, if we're not, this is not for someone who's going to flip. This is going for someone who's, wants to turn it into a
Primary.
home. Yeah. And then I've got a home ready Renault as well. So a conventional and a.
So those who
FHA
do not
product.
know what a 203K is, can you?
Yeah, it basically, so it's going to allow you to literally go in and purchase the house based off of the assumed value or the subject to value. So we're going to go in, we're going to say, all right, we're going to buy the house for $300,000. We're going to do $150,000 worth of work to it. So you're going to pay that person. The contractor's going to have 6 months to finish. You're actually going to close on the $450,000 mark, put a down payment based on the $450,000 mark, and then the contractor's going to have 6 months, and you can get an extension there, but really want to see that 6-month mark hit for them to complete the work, and then you'd move into the property.
So I've got a client, I want to buy that, right? So there's basically 2 appraisals, right? There's as is, and then
Subject to, and then a final.
and a final.
Saying, yeah, the guy.
How's that? You're saying that home, when it's completely finished, is going to appraise for $450K?
I'm saying a home. I didn't say that home.
Okay.
He's
In general.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's the point I'm trying to get to, Jerry. How do you establish the cost of construction? Do I need to have a Jerry the contractor?
The contractor comes in, and then
That's during the contract process.
So here's the thing. I can close, assuming that Jerry the contractor goes through our initial viewing of the home and creates a bid, and then we have our HUD consultant who's going to turn the bid into the structure that FHA wants to see it at. I'm going to close that property in 45 days. So we're need about 2 weeks longer than a normal offer would to put all the pieces together. And in that time, now this is where the appraisal is important. Now let's say specifically to this property, let's say it's never going to appraise. Like,
I think I saw this
like,
in an episode of The Sopranos.
what like
This right
what
here.
planet are we on? Like, then the appraiser is going to come out and say, all right, okay,
my
look,
Uncle Vito.
the house
Don't
is
worry about
worth $200,000, and it's worth $300,000, like, fixed. Like, what do you? This is like, that would kill the deal just like it would any other appraisal purchase.
It has to appraise for the market.
100%,
Got it.
absolutely.
Yeah, unless you're prepared to bring cash
Cash
to
to
make
the table.
the shortfall.
Right, which
the shortfall. But I think this
probably
is
is not.
important because a lot of folks do not understand this process and how this works, and this is a tool out there, and that's kind of why I've got a hard stop here in about 5 minutes or so, and I just wanted to get this conversation out there because agents out there that may be listening to it may not understand.
because people are scared of it. One, because there's a lot, as
Moving parts.
there's a lot of moving parts, expectations. This is the sort of thing where the contractor all of a sudden 6 months turns into 8 months,
Sure.
and now everybody has feelings, and it didn't go the way we expected,
Sure.
and this isn't. But at the same time, you get a competent contractor who like and trust, who gets the windows ordered on day one, and we do these things that prevent those delays. Then everybody walks away with good feelings.
So we just got Jamie Turner just shared a listing. J-Dubs, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to the big screen behind Scott and Keith so they can see it. And then if you can go to the comment section of my Facebook page, I know I'm asking you to do something on the fly, the comment section of my personal Facebook page, and take this listing and put it on screen. This is a house in Gordonsville that this very well could apply to. So the viewers and listeners can see it. You do that, J-Dubs. In the meantime, I'm going to put this on the screen behind us for Scott and Keith to see. Get the photo from the comment section. It's a Zillow link.
So while they're working on that, the second largest active listings in our area is Louisa County.
Get the photo. There it is right there,
Interesting.
fellas.
There you go.
Gordonsville, 199K. He said this could apply to this 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,539 square feet. It's obvious. And viewers and listeners, Judah's getting this link and putting the photo on screen. This is something potentially that you guys are talking about.
Absolutely.
So the struggle here is what Scott was talking about. The struggle is to get Jerry, the qualified contractor, to come in and give an actual legitimate quote that says it's going to cost $200,000. We're just throwing numbers out here. This is a $200,000 purchase. It's going to cost $200,000 to do it, and then there has to be an appraisal that says yes, it's $400,000 appraised, or do you have to go, or you're doing like an 80% the value or nothing like that. It just got to be straight up.
It's got to be a straight up, like 3.5% down FHA loan.
And how much cash I got to bring to the table to do that?
Yeah, that's a perfect example here.
Let's assume
Let's say 7% of $400,000.
So I got Jerry the contractor who says, yes, I can do this for $200,000. We've got a contract to buy this for $200,000. The appraisal says, yeah, no problem. This is worth $400,000 if you finish it. And all I got to do is come up with 7%. So how does the contractor get paid?
Contractor gets paid. So this is where you need a contractor who can front the money, because the contractor gets paid off final closing.
That's why I brought it up. So Jerry the
This
contractor.
isn't like a construction
He's got to
loan.
wait.
Jerry the contractor.
Yeah.
So first of all, with all due respect, finding a contractor right now is a little difficult. So
I've got two right now that could,
Really?
that
would do that. They would go to
do it.
Gordonsville to do that.
Yep,
Pull
absolutely.
that picture off because I'm going to Gordonsville. To see
Yeah, right there. He's going to buy this. He's going to buy this right now. Jamie Turner, we're going to get that on screen. Judah's getting this photo on there. So here's questions that are coming up specifically about what we're talking about here. What if somebody wants to buy this but tear it down?
Yeah.
And then build either new construction for primary residence, or the second scenario is the investor approach?
Then they're probably going to need a commercial loan or deep pockets.
Okay, cash.
Yeah.
is
So
what we're talking.
so the importance of these two loan products is you have to enhance an existing structure.
Right.
Other than that, so if we go
That's why I
back,
asked.
we go back to our Palatine. Did I say that
Yeah,
right?
Palatine Avenue.
Palatine Avenue, and you want to do that, like we were talking about yesterday. Then we need to come with $300,000 cash, about $25,000 ish, plus or minus.
And then another $1 million to put up your,
4 units.
Yeah, whatever you're doing there.
Yeah.
Correct. And that is as Scott was said, you're going to, commercial lending, which is a whole different world. And actually, we probably ought to do a show with a commercial lender one day to talk about that. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And with Scott.
Yep.
Jamie says, so this is going on fire right now. Kevin Yancey, Waynesboro, hello, welcome to the program. He's the king of Waynesboro. Jamie Turner said he thinks this price is insane for Gordonsville with the house in that.
Well, that was my initial reaction.
Agreed. There's another one how about this? There's one in the Ruckersville, Barbersville area that you could literally see the roof line swoop down, the roof is done.
So if I had
plywood, everything, and it went for 190 in 3 days.
If I had my laptop with me, I could probably tell you what that's really worth.
Well, let's see. What do you think it's really worth with the eye test? What's the Zestimate on this?
That has none, which tells me that there's no data. If you see where it says right here, Zestimate,
yeah, right here, none.
None, yeah. So that's telling you.
And look at the crazy thing is this has been on the market for 19 hours.
Yeah.
And look at the saves.
Sure.
Look at the views.
Yeah.
These metrics indication of traffic for the listing.
And everybody now knows that there's a product available. So there's a product available and there's a path available through our conversation with Scott. Now it's a point of hiring a trusted advisor to negotiate that price, to get one of Scott's contractors or contractor Jerry to go ahead and do that. And then, part of the problem, Scott, also is you're going to close on all this stuff while there's 8 or 9 months or whatever work is going on, and you're paying a mortgage payment while you're not living in it, right?
Correct.
So that's another factor that you have to factor in when you do your ROI into this, when you're thinking about this, because now I'm living in my current residence, either owned or rent, while I'm waiting for that to happen. And I've been doing construction long enough to know if you think it's going to be done on a certain day, it won't be done on that day.
So as Jamie, who shared this, said, I had a conversation with the seller of this home a little while ago, and I offered him $100,000 for this property.
That's the right number.
And the seller laughed and said, no way.
Yeah. That's what that, in my opinion.
100 grand, the guy who's watching the program just said.
Yeah, I would say that's worth 100 grand. They'll get probably close to that number.
To 200K?
They'll probably get somewhere between 175 and 200 on it.
That is bananas. Jamie, if you're going to make some moves here, reach out to this guy over here, Scott Mortgage Morrison, make it happen. Two boys repping the pep right there. Dan McDougall, who's in the business, says there is a home-style reno loan for investors, a Freddie product, and he says with a 15% down payment.
Yeah, so are we going to make this a rental? That's fine. I'm talking about investors who are going to turn around and flip it. Is that what Dan's referencing?
Is that what you're referencing, Dan McDougall?
So let's just, because I got to dive here, guys.
Yeah.
So there's, if you're doing this,
Change that. Go ahead.
if you're doing it for a flip, you don't have a product for it. If you're doing it for a long-term rental, Keith and Jerry want to get together to buy that. The only difference is the 7%.
The whole reason I don't even bring that up is because it just opens this flip conversation, and it's two different things.
But if there's somebody listening who wants to do that, the difference really is just the amount of down payment you bring to the table, right? The process is exactly the same. Instead of 7%, it's 15. Some products is 20. Most products I've ever seen that I've personally been dealt with is about 20%, right? You got to bring 20. And then if you can't bring 20% to the table, then you probably shouldn't
be in that game.
Right, yeah.
Do you not agree?
And 25% generally prices a little better than 20. So I'm sure that's, these are just.
And then the second thing I'd be doing that if I'm doing 200 to fix it up and buying it for 200, then Jamie Turner needs to look, okay, what's the rents out there?
Grayson just put on the feed, I live in this area and there's no way I'd pay $1 over $75K for that house. I know where that house is.
Yeah, I think 100 is on the high side. But,
Crazier things have happened?
As my anesthesiologist son-in-law said the other day, you can't fix stupid, but I can sedate it. That's 200 grand for that is kind of a insane
there's
price.
a property that's in much better condition in the same area that is actually a foreclosure, and
I know.
Janet Holden I think is the listing agent on it, and it went on market at $190,000, and I think they've received at a minimum 5-6 offers, and some of them cash that are over.
What's the address on that? Do you know? I'll call it. Keith's got to go. Keith's got a Zoom call over here.
I got a board meeting
I
I
could
got to
probably
do,
find
guys.
it pretty quickly.
So I'll start trouble and leave. So good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Dude,
Thank
this
you.
is what's the so Jamie Turner, Kevin Yancey has this,
Thank
and
you, everybody.
also
Thank
Keith.
you.
Before you go here, what's the land value for Gordonsville? That's from Kevin Yancey. Multiple people are asking this, and then I know you got to go.
Yeah,
18
and
to
I'm sorry,
21
guys.
Monrovia
I'm
Road.
chairing a board meeting
Yeah.
in 15 minutes, so I got to go for the land trust. I don't think that lot probably is worth over 50 grand.
So you're saying it's 50 grand for a half acre?
I think if I was going to buy a lot with central water and sewer on it in that area, and we can save this for Monday.
Yeah.
It's going to be for Friday. It's a simple math solution that you can go backwards. So if you think that the sales price, the market price on that area is 300,000, divide that by 5, and that's your max land purchase. So whoever's smart enough to figure that out, that's what that is.
So it's 60K.
Yeah, so like I said, 50 grand, central, you got to also take a look at what the water and sewer connection fees are and all this great stuff.
I know you got to go. He's got to go.
I got a land
All right.
trust
Yeah,
board I got to do.
good to see you, Keith. Good to
Same
see you.
here, same
What
here.
is the what
Do
is
not
the
talk bad about me when I'm gone.
We
'cause
never do.
I'm going to be listening.
We never do. What is the listing that you're talking?
18221 Monrovia.
18221. How do you spell the
Mon Monrovia, I believe.
Monrovia?
A.
Monrovia. Okay, and road.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can call that up. This is getting it's in orange. Judah, check that one out as well if
Yeah,
you can find
Gordon-
it. I know this is
Gordon-
putting you on the fly here. 18. Google this. 18221 Monrovia Road. Monrovia Road. I'm gonna put it up here in the studio so Scott Morris can see it. This is fun. This is good, and this is gonna get some folks into it. So what are you seeing right here on screen, and viewers and listeners? You're gonna see this on screen here in a matter of moments. 18221 Monrovia Road in Orange, Virginia. It's got an asking price of $189,500, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, 960 square feet. Walk me through what you're seeing here, Scott.
Well, I wanted to compare it to the other listing. I was saying.
I mean, this looks like it has a copper roof on it.
I don't think it's copper. It's
Tin?
Yeah, it's metal.
Yeah?
Painted metal. But I mean, look, you're getting this property for $190,000, and this is probably within 10 minutes of the other one that we just saw. And the other one is just an absolute.
Maybe tear down.
Yeah,
So he's showing us a comp here. And this is a foreclosure?
I think so.
Walk us through the foreclosure process with what you do.
With what I do, it's not really a lot different. You need, you're going to go through like a regular purchase. Any product is available. The bank has already set what they've typically already agreed to what they're going to sell for with the agent that they're listing it with.
The agent guys, are you seeing a lot of foreclosures crossing your desk?
I'm not. This one just happened to be something that I came up over the weekend. I've got buyers out there. You see this price point, and it's people are like, "Yo, can we do this?" And from investment and from a purchase standpoint. But I mean, again, there's a ton of cash floating around right now, and I mean that's what this is going to go for.
So this is 189,500 at 4 points, maybe 4.25. Your mortgage on that is probably $900 a month.
Yeah, $1,000 all in.
Yeah,
probably.
$1,000 all in a month. So this rents all day, every day for $1,400, $1,500 easy.
Yeah.
So you're talking cash flow positive from day one. So this right here, you can see why this one is getting multiple offer scenarios here. I mean, because that price point just doesn't exist. How far do you think that is from Charlottesville? 30 miles?
Probably. I see Unionville on the map. I see Woodbury Forest. I mean, I think this is basically in Gordonsville. It's a weird lot.
That is a weird lot. Look at that lot on screen. It's like shaped like an L, skinny L. That right there is a deal waiting to happen. That's not going to stay in the market long. What are the price points? So this is coming in the feed here. What are the price points Scott is financing now? What is the price point momentum that he's seeing most of on his desk?
I mean, it goes back to where the inventory is, like $800,000 to $200,000. I mean, that's kind of what's available in the area. I was having a conversation when I walked in this morning about the $800,000 property, and I've get this all weekend depending on what somebody's running into.
Questions, put them in the feed. Heather, hello, welcome to the program. Heather Walker, thank you kindly for joining us on the show here. Kevin says, is that a half acre on that property that you were just talking about?
The one, no, it was like 8 acres.
Get out of town. This is 8 acres? It's 8.7 acres. Good Lord. This is a steal of the steal. Scott may have just highlighted the best steal in Central Virginia here. 8 acres, 8.7 acres in Gordonsville with an asking price of $189,500. So explain the mechanics of this pricing for me. Is this it seems like this is a steal here.
It looks like it, but at the same time, like I said, they've already. There's a ton of offers on it already. They're going to pick one. It's going to go. It's just a matter of who it goes to, and it's going to go to cash.
Kevin goes, yeah, that's a steal. Grayson's watching. Where can we make offers? Kevin Higgins watching the program here. Did you see UVA ever getting in the business of buying homes and apartments to rent out to employees cheaper than the current rental market? He says
that's an interesting comment. That's a good way for them to subsidize what they're driving the market up with as is.
He also says, I think that's also a way to retain employees in the current CVille market, and turnover trading is through the roof expensive. Why would they not move into the home apartment real estate business to keep employees in play and offer it as a perk of incentive packaging? It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I like that, Kevin Higgins. He's the king of Greenwood right there. This comment has come in. We've touched on it briefly. We'll bring it up again. And folks, let's welcome some Culpeper folks to the program here. Diana Banks and Gabriel Byrne watching the program right now. Diana Lynn Banks says, good morning to Scott Morris.
Good morning.
So this question's coming on LinkedIn. Does he think interest rates are going to move quickly after the Fed meeting? We touched on this again. I have a feeling they're just turning in Destiny on LinkedIn. Do you think rates are going to move quickly after the Fed meeting this afternoon?
So mortgage rates aren't a direct relation of what happens with prime. However, in combination of what we talked about briefly, being that the Fed has stopped expanding its bond purchase portfolio, and the fact that depending on the inflation data that we continue to see, along with them increasing the prime rate, you're going to see a migration out of bonds. And the government not purchasing as much of their own product anymore. Depending on how big the move is, the bond movement is going to be what dictates what we see happen with rates. I think, yes, I think things are going to happen. If we get a 50 basis point move from the Fed today, I think you're going to see people fleeing the U.S. 10-year, and then in turn, you're going to see over time, it's going to happen, in the course of a couple weeks, we're going to see rates, continue to climb. They've been climbing, so.
Spencer, we talked about this before the show started. Might as well bring this up. It's something that's been coming up more often on some of our programming. Does the guest believe a recession is on the horizon?
The government is going to be the one to create that. That's kind of like that. That's what happens. So with that said, we see rates go up. We create, the prime and mortgage rates. We create a recession. The Fed reacts, rates come back down. That's kind of that's the way that the mechanism works. It has worked for the last 20 years, so I would imagine that most likely the odds are better for a recession than not.
Wow. Any advice to those watching on that? How to position things? Chop down your debt ASAP?
Yeah, chop down your debt. Talk to your, a financial advisor, somebody who can, how do you minimize your, how do you create the best cash flow for your situation? Does that, I'm not going to tell somebody to let's go get all the equity out of your house. If you only need a little bit of money, maybe we can look at, what does a home equity line of credit for a minimal amount mean that you can pay off some bills with, and credit cards, cars, that sort of thing. Just explore all your options.
D-Max says, Daniel McDougall, you make the program better. Amazon does it on a regular basis. He's responding to Kevin Higgins' comment. New Seattle project in the works now, employer subsidized housing. He says, and he also believes there's no chance on a 50 basis point move. from DMAC there. Time will tell.
So if we get 25 today and we get continued rising inflation and they keep saying that everything is strong as it is, we could get one in May if we don't get one today.
Yeah, and I'm inclined to agree that I think 50, I don't want to say high, be high. I think I've got to hope to God that Powell realizes the ridiculously vulnerable nature we're in right now. And the uncertainty with this war. Did you watch the Ukrainian president this morning?
I listened to part of it, and
It was moving.
yeah.
I saw it as a dad through the lens of dad. It kind of brought me to tears, man. I mean,
He's an actor, bro.
I understand he's an actor. I understand that, but there's a war that's undoubtedly
Terrible.
That's killing people. Are dying
Yeah.
here. He's dying, and he definitely has the gift of communication. He's asking for airspace to be shut down. He basically, in respectful manner, called out Biden.
Okay, but at the same time, it's terrible what's happening. I'm not going to go too far into this, but at the bequest of someone else, do we enter World War III?
That's the problem.
It's not a problem. It's an easy answer, and it's more complicated than just going, hey, please help us. And by the way, if what our begging for help creates a nuclear holocaust, my bad.
Yeah, that is something I think about as well. I think about the World War III and nukes across the world, especially with what Russia and this crazy man's doing. We are not
the world police. Protect our best interest. Like, it's sad what's happening. It's terrible, and I have a lot of empathy for that. What I don't wish for is
World War III.
Yeah.
What's your business saying about all this?
People still want to buy houses. People are going to continue to have babies, get divorced, and do the things that create real estate transactions. And right now, the rates are still in a low enough position where investors want to get in and continue to buy these properties. My business says that people are going to make human-based decisions and still have human-based needs at the end of the day, and that's what we need to take care of. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to dive too deep into.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's finances, the mortgage is the housing show. It's atop everybody's minds. That is the first world leader to address Congress in that fashion in American history.
Well, it's because we can Zoom now.
We can Zoom now. There's technology that certainly hasn't happened. Kevin, who watches the program, King of Greenwood, he said, and this guy is the European version of Roosevelt. It's a mess, man. It is an absolute mess. Obviously, the comments are coming in here quick and furious, and people are torn on what side this will go. I'm concerned, and I'm going to throw this to you and get out of your way. I'm concerned that the next Q2 into the summer, how long this war lasts, how quickly we're able to keep inflation in check, how these markets respond, how rates rise or stabilize, is going to determine the rest of the year and next year from an economy standpoint. And I'm also empathetic for people who are dying in Ukraine. Okay, you're a dad, I'm a dad here. So seeing folks dying, kids dying, moms dying, hospitals being blown up is reaching my heartstrings in different ways.
Because it's on television about this one? What about this is happening all over the world in other places, and Syria specifically, and it doesn't get the media attention that this does, but now all of a sudden, I don't know. And
let's also highlight this, you're a military serviceman.
Yeah.
This guy
so
was
just,
a former
just
Marine,
because
right?
this is the popular one to talk about because of who the person is, because we're talking about the Putin side of that. Look, this is happening in other places across the world that we don't recognize on a daily basis with 24-hour news coverage in the right now cycle. And I think it's disingenuous to pour all over this and ignore those other atrocities and claim that this is this is the worst thing that's happening in the world. It's a bad thing. It's a very bad thing.
It certainly has pushed COVID down the news cycle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not even being discussed right now. Comments are coming in fast and furious here. Scott, have any thoughts on Amazon data center being denied in Culpeper?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
You heard about that?
Yeah, I did. I think it's a big miss. Like millions, it's going to change the shape of the community.
Went to Augusta County, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But it was the opportunity for millions of dollars of tax revenue with, in my opinion, something that's pretty low impact. But there's already a data center there that I think runs off of, I don't know if it's Verizon or who related, that's super secure. It's right beside Germanna Community College. I don't know exactly what it is, but this is just another, I think it's a missed opportunity.
What's the number one? I've asked you this before. What's the number one employer in Culpeper?
There's the number one. Number one is probably the government, but the number two is you got Cintas, which has a major headquarters there.
Uniform cleaning?
Yeah, you've got Merchants Grocery, Continental, that makes industrial automotive parts. Those are all three big manufacturers in the area.
Dude, I'm going to get to as many of these as possible. They're coming in fast. Scott, for you, Disney. No, I don't see any Disney in Gordonsville and Gainesville, Kevin Yancey. This question's coming. Keep things in perspective. One of the best years of all time in real estate, the rates were 5.5%. Rates are somewhat of a side issue versus supply right now.
Yeah, I mean, I say that all the time. People do not make purchase decisions based off of rate. They make them off of basic need and inventory. And inventory is something that we're struggling with at the moment.
Yeah, so we need added inventory big time, no question about that. Has he seen an area of business that is an area of geography-wise that is driving more business for Scott?
Where my energy goes is where a lot of that occurs. Richmond still has a lot of rooftops, a lot of inventory problems. Seems to be less quite competitive from a purchase standpoint, depending on the price point, than a lot of what we see in this localized area. Roanoke, similar. But I'd say Richmond is probably where you can still make an offer, and even though it's competitive, it's not as competitive.
Danny O'Day on LinkedIn watching the program. DOD, we love when you watch the show. The truth is that there's no smart next move with the Ukrainian situation. Personally, I'm for whatever solution leads to the least amount of war, but I'm not sure that a policy that amounts to more or less a finger wagging and appeasement is the best way to deal with a strong man like Putin. I think we're all for less war. 100%. Danny O'Day, thank you for watching the program here. The topic is hot. So we're two guys here in the Commonwealth. We're not
Right.
How would you characterize it?
So I'm not trying to, my whole thing is, what was that, the claymation movie, America World Police? Team America
Thank you,
World
Judah.
Police. Like that's, I just don't feel like that is our role to be involved in everything. So I think this is one where we, do give our best advice, and we don't create a bigger problem through our involvement.
Bill says Mary Lat in Culpeper.
Mary Lat is, very large.
Cabinet Manufacturing as a large employer for the community. Neil Williamson, hello. Philip Dow, hello, and welcome to the program. We get a lot of people watching here.
Madison Wood Preserve also. Not Madison, Culpeper Wood Preserve is a pretty large employer as well. And because they also own Jefferson Home Builders, they've got an enormous amount of...
Culpeper Wood Preserve owns Jefferson Home Builders? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Yeah,
Culpeper Wood Preserve is like the largest producer of treated lumber in the United States.
Highlight more of that.
It's They are owned by Joe Daniels, who is, a very talented businessman who owns a ton of real estate in the area. Culpeper Wood Preserves, Jefferson Home Builders. I'm sure there's more down that in that umbrella.
I didn't know that. Learning some stuff right now from Scott Morse on the program. How about the movement of, this is coming on LinkedIn, how about the movement of markets as a DM, the movement of markets impacting Scott's business?
I think that happens, I think that's depending on where we end up with this R word and like the very north end of price points. Like what does that do to the $1 million plus purchases versus where that leaves the, your $300,000 to $600,000 purchase. I don't think that's going to be really affected because if anything, it's going to drive people down from the higher price point into a lower price point, but the need for real estate transactions doesn't go away.
This is from Stacy. The need for new employers is an important one, and how it's tied to new inventory that sprouts up around new employers moving to the area. The loss of Amazon is a big impact to Culpeper. You bring in an employer that size, and you will watch how it drives the economy and creates more inventory to house the people working for Amazon. Please highlight this on the show.
Yeah, but I mean, so where's the new? That's not an overnight change, and I think it's more impactful to supplying or easing the tax burden on the growth that is already happening more so than creating additional growth.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about it's basically incremental revenue, which we all try to highlight on the show, incremental tax revenue. If we get more rooftops and new inventory, that means existing people in the community don't feel the burden of taxes anymore.
Not just that. The more growth you get, the more stress it is on schools. The cost to expand that government, the supporting services, which is going to be paid for by the people who are living there. The people who are already living there are going to see their taxes go up. So if you've got an additional income stream coming from, one of the largest companies in the world, why not take advantage of that?
This question's come in. Christopher, you make the program better often. Does the refi business pick up right before a potential drop in markets, or as you guys call it, the R word?
I mean, refinances will pick up when we're going to see rates go up. So then probably after recession, when the government steps in and then does something to fix the problem that they caused, they'll artificially step on the scale again, drive rates back down, and there'll be another refinance boom.
Oh, man. I ask you this every time. What's the percentage of your business on refi now? Less than 10?
Less than 10.
Less than 10? What's the percentage that's new construction?
Probably 30%. Yeah.
30% currently?
Yeah.
Wow. So 40% of your business is either refi or new construction. 60% is existing construction financing. What of that 60% is jumbo market business?
Probably 10. But it depends on so I've had quite a few people who are putting down more money to get into conforming limits because they've been right around that $700,000-800,000 mark to get below 642. So.
This from Neil Williamson, president of Free Enterprise Forum. Where will employers go? There's no room in Albemarle's developmental areas for new employers to go. And he shares a link to the Free Enterprise Forum from March 15th. Check out that website, guys, if you want to get some knowledge on the community. Highlighting anything that you're seeing from a Culpeper standpoint with your Culpeper Spotlight. That's come in on your group over there. Talk to us about what the plan is for that group.
So weekly, we want to see, share, and help grow other small businesses in the area. We've recently dealt with, from a real estate standpoint, the Smythe team, and they do a fun thing called Singo, where they go out and it's like bingo, but with music and local restaurants, breweries. We've done Raven's Nest with Brittany. It's an amazing spot on Davis Street. Did you end up going to Culpeper?
We didn't go.
And
guess what happened?
What happened?
Our 3 soon-to-be 4-year-old got sick. Dude gets sick every like every 2 weeks.
I spent last night in the ER.
For what? One of your kids?
My son fell off of a small, like a kitchen-sized stepladder that was in the pantry. And
Stitches?
No. I just like started like couldn't wouldn't walk, wouldn't put any weight on his foot, and he can't talk. So, and then you look at toddler fractures and spiral fractures, and so it was just take him and not take him. And I roll up to the Culpeper emergency room, and there's like 30 people standing room only, and I was like, no. So I turned around and drove to the Martha Jefferson one right by the airport. I walked in, filled out the admin sheet, handed him, and there was a nurse waiting for me to take me in by the time, by the time the clipboard hit the table.
What is with these damn kids and getting injured is different than getting sick. My kid gets sick all the time.
Yeah. Well, my kids
all the time.
Yeah, my kids I feel like have had colds for like the last 2 months. So
seriously, Jamie, we have to get you out here in the PEP ASAP. Talk to us about Davis and Culpeper. Keep highlighting it. People are loving this.
Davis Street is Davis Street and Main Street. You could spend an afternoon hitting restaurants and little shops. You could stop by Raven's Nest and power up with some coffee halfway through. There's a Pepperberries. There's a neat little store. There's La Monkey House, which has got a bunch of super hipstery kind of banners and T-shirts, and there's a couple candy stores. Knackles is a bakery that's been there forever. It's About Time is an amazing restaurant. It's
booming.
It's like it's a cool little spot. It's like a mini downtown mall.
Guys, Culpeper is booming right now. Mom on the feed here. I love the moms watching the program. So, is your son okay, Scott? That's from Jennifer.
I mean,
said he was okay, right?
This morning he got a little limp, little pimp walk going on, but the assumption is it's soft tissue and maybe just a sprained ankle. I don't know. He seems okay.
He's okay, moms. Watching the program. All right. Well, get me any updates on the chicken and the fox, Scott. That just came on the. This is from last week's show.
Yeah. So foxes are still alive. They haven't been eliminated because I haven't had the time to do that. And
you should tell the story because that went viral on the show last time.
So I keep around 20 chickens at any given time, and I went out of town for a couple of days to Richmond, ate at Grisette, and owned by Donnie Glass and Andy McClure. And by the time I came back, I'd lost like 3 or 4 birds from 2 different types of attacks. Some of them would fly out of the coop. I've got like a 6-foot fence. And then the other, I went out of town for a full week. And by the time I came back, foxes had dug under and I was down to like 3 adult birds. So that's where I am now. But I did take my twin 4-year-olds to Tractor Supply looking for an aerator on Saturday, and they did not have any aerators, but we got 12 more chicks. So I've got like 20 baby chicks at this point that will be adult birds around September this year. So
Christopher says, Scott, you need a shotgun. I have a feeling he has one.
I know. I mean, I trap some foxes. You're not
going to kill the fox?
Huh?
You're not going to kill the fox?
I'll trap them, and
okay.
then I just I live in and or around a neighborhood where that's you got to be a little mindful.
Okay. So he's not going to be shotgun blasting the fox over here. It's hilarious that people remember the chicken and the fox story here from the show. That story was contagious last time. Bill says parenthood and growing old. It's not for sissies or the faint of heart. Tell me about it. Parenthood is not easy. All right, close with this. Give a message to everybody that's watching. PAL, Ukraine, Russia, rates rising, no inventory. We got a collision of so much stuff going on right now.
Things are never as bad as they seem, and they are never as good as they seem. So take the social media, emotional, like the pleas, all that with a grain of salt. Think about what the long-term consequences are for short-term actions, and if you need somebody to reach out to chat about what makes your financial situation better, or how do you improve your cash flow, and what makes a refinance or a home equity line of credit better versus one or the other, I'm happy to have that conversation, even if it is me telling you to do something that doesn't benefit me.
Diana says, don't forget Entitle Settlement Services on Davis Street.
Entitle Settlement Services on Davis Street. That's right. That's correct. They are an amazing group of people.
This is a completely different topic, but we put it on the show, on the feed, right before the show started. Ask Scott what he thinks about the outdoor refreshment areas that are being discussed in Albemarle in the city of Charlottesville. I personally love them.
I mean, I think why didn't we do this 20 years ago?
Right.
I think it's kind of a no-brainer. So what, Charlottesville wants. The downtown mall is already pretty heavily has a pretty secure police presence. So if you could set up a place where you're kind of getting some monitor of enter and exit, and then you could, I guess the main thing is with the side streets is making it secure. And obvious that you can't walk past certain places with your beverage in hand. That's probably, but that's going to be visual aids and human bodies. Will the revenue from what they're doing, could they put in the people in place to make that a reality? I think the answer is yes.
You'll love this. So on one Facebook page, JT is saying they closed my house, Entitle Settlement Services. On another page, Diana Lynn Banks was tagged on this. So there's a client and a settlement company interacting with each other on your show right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And this is exactly what we're trying to do with the program, and exactly what he's trying to do with the Culpeper Community Spotlight. So go to the Culpeper Community Spotlight group and join it. I want to get the 281 members that are in there right now, close to 400 by the time Scott's on the program 1 week from now. I think he's doing a hell of a job with it, and you can tell that all he's trying to do is spotlight good people doing good things in the community.
That's awesome.
Which is what he's all about. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Yeah, absolutely.
It was a lot of fun. Judah, and good work on the fly, getting the content on air. Judah Wickhauer is our director. This is the Wednesday edition of Real Talk, presented by Ross Mortgage and Scott Mortgage Morris. A guy you can trust for your mortgages, guys, Scott Morris. And you can see the whole concept of what we're trying to do is a positive spotlight on this community. We'll do that again with the I Love CVille show in 1 hour and 15 minutes, where we have so much to cover on the program. You guys have a good morning. Take care.